like to call upon Karen's higher self, please.
Hi, I'm here. I'm here with you today.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Can we do a body scan and find out what's happening to her body today?
She's in pretty good shape. She has some sinus issues that should clear up once the weather calms down a little bit. It's been windy and there's a lot of pollen blowing around in the air. She might want to drink some green tea and that should help as well.
Hmm, sounds great. Fantastic. Are you able to give her her profound healing and balance everything that needs to be balanced and give her a nice energy while she is experiencing the session today?
Yes, we can do that and we'll continue to scan as well.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I was really curious today about something I've just recently heard about. It's termed black goo. There is concerns that it is AI controlled over carbon-based matter that can control genetic expression. Are you able to tell me anything about that?
AI is trying to infiltrate all areas of humanity. It will manipulate not necessarily the genetics before you're born, but it can change you afterwards. And mainly it will affect the nervous system and the way your thought process is changes that a lot. That's where mind control comes in. I don't see that it actually changes too much. It tries to rewire how your nervous system in your brain sparks and talks. That's looks like what it's going to do. It's going to control that. It's going to dumb us down more than we already are. We'll be very complacent. It's not being used in the population yet, but they do want to introduce that in the next several months. It looks like it's another form of slowing down humanity's shift.
How will it be introduced into humanity?
I was just looking at that. It might be introduced into our food chain, but excuse me, but it doesn't look like they have a acceptable way without it being suspect and identified as um, like I'm trying to say the discrepancies that the consumer is going to see will alert them not to purchase some of the products that will carry this. Also, it's going to have a shelf life. It needs to be administered into the host, or it'll perish. It won't do its job. So they have to work out a few details, and they're not quite there.
I see. And so, what would it look like if someone was exposed to this black goo? How would you notice?
It looks like a green dust. It's kind of like when mold dies and dries out, it turns into like a dust. And that's what it's doing. It's not, the integrity of it is breaking down. And they didn't anticipate that. So they are going back to the proverbial drawing board and find something more stable, another compound, it looks like. But they haven't been able to resolve that problem.
Can you
And it's like we're having help from above preventing them from completing their experiment.
Oh, we are getting help from above.
Yes, it looks like they are more in control than what we even know, or I'm not going to call them mad scientists, but those are the ones, they're just doing what they think is a project. The ones behind the scenes, the dark side, they're pushing the scientists to get this done, but they keep hitting obstacles. And the latest one is they found out their product has a shelf life and it's not supported. So if a human were to ingest it, it would do no damage at this point.
How do you see these things being in products? What type of products can you sense that they're trying to put in?
I keep seeing like dried products like pastas or boxed dinners. I know they're convenient to make quick meals when families need that, but it's like being added into those. They have like sauce packets that are powder. And it appears like that's what I'm seeing is it's added to a powder. The
Right.
company that produce these dinners, they think it's a seasoning that was, you know, sold to them to promote flavor, but that's not what it is.
I see. And so, is there any products out there right now that have this product in it, within it?
Yes, there is a couple of them, and it's mainly, it looks like macaroni and cheese packaging is what I'm getting a sense of. And it's the yellow powder, and it might be in that. And I don't see a name brand, and it could be all of them. Because a lot of those boxes are made at the same place. They just get put different labels on them.
Right. Okay. Thank you. And so, how would you know if you had consumed any of these products?
You wouldn't know at this point. As I said earlier, they're not doing any harm to humans, and your body's just going to expel what it doesn't need. It'll just come out naturally with your waste. It won't stay in your body. If they figure out how to make it more stable, it will, almost like a nano, travel to your brain and, like I said, dumb it down. And that's how they will have more control over humanity. And we can't afford any more delays. That will not happen. We won't allow it.
Do you get a sense of a collective that is behind this?
Not a spiritual collective, but it's another race. It's like the draconians are working with the dark side. And that's the sense of what I'm getting.
Okay, thank you. And in terms of the results that they were hoping for, can you give me a sense of what that would look like if they were successful?
It would be a lot like the implants that they're trying to promote through drinks as well. The difference being the nanos, they tend to not attack, but your body can sense that foreign object. easier, and it does attack it. It fights it off like a disease, the nanos. So they're trying to develop something more organic. And that's what they're doing with this, what you're calling the black goo.
Okay. Interesting. Um, would it be correct if people had a higher frequency that they would not be as affected with this black goo?
People with a higher frequency have been converting their eating habits naturally. They haven't been craving, we'll call it junk food or processed foods, as much as they did in their past. So if they keep up those habits, that alone will protect them.
Nice. Fantastic. Okay, thank you so much. I'm curious, is there any black matter or any of this black goo on the planet or within the planet at all?
Yes, they've been working with it. It's not exactly black. It's just been labeled that. But yeah, it's already on the planet. It's being contained and protected. So when they're ready to roll out their devious plans, they don't have to worry about it being compromised. But they're still trying to add it to the foods. They haven't found any other way other than injecting people. But I don't see that happening at this point. That thought has not been entertained. It would have to be a volunteer process that people agreed to. And with the pandemic already passing, they don't feel like they can add it into those shots. They're already having trouble with other stories, I guess, backstories with those shots.
Okay, thank you. And in terms of any AI control systems that are trying to get into the consciousness of Gaia or onto her planet body, is there anything that you would like us to know about that?
Gaia is such a high being that she's untouchable in that area. That will never happen. She can protect herself well. It's her inhabitants that are the concern here. And that means humanity. They're not targeting any other species that live here, just the humans. But of course, that's the major population. And that is the species that is getting ready to ascend. They still want the control. They still want the labor, all the benefits they've had controlling humanity throughout the ages. They don't want to lose that, but they're about to. We are 3 steps ahead of them. We see what they're doing and what they're trying to do. We have our plans just like they do, and we will not lose.
Fantastic. Well, thank you once again for protecting us and helping us and guiding us through this.
Yes, we will always be here for that.
Thank you so much. We're also curious about crystals on the planet. We've heard that some of them are being depleted and some of them are growing in strength. Is there any information you'd like us to understand about crystals on this planet?
There are crystals. They're strategically placed. Both of the things you said are true. Some are being depleted and some are being recharged. We try to keep a balance and an even cycle depending on where they're located. They're used to keep the frequency of humanity up, as well as support for Gaia herself. Some of this energy comes from what you would call deep space, many light years away. It's transferred here and used for the purpose and support for everything, all the goals that we've set forth for humanity. They'll be accomplished soon, and the energy will no longer be needed here, and we can point it into another direction for another need, for another planet.
Fantastic. In terms of energy being sent here, is that depleting some resources from, as you said, deep space?
Definitely. It was, of course, an urgent call, distress call that Guy put out quite a while ago, and a lot of other beings answered that call and came here. And with that distress call, we found out how bad the resources were needed here. We are almost saddened by how it went unnoticed for so long and how it grew so rapidly, the negative energies in this area. That's why we redirected some resources. We had to have the support here. It was very necessary. Otherwise, there might not be any life on this planet right now.
Okay, well, thank you. And so, how will those crystals or that energy be repleted or replenished? I'm curious about the impact of them.
The ones here or the ones everywhere?
Both, please.
Energy comes from source. It is, how do I explain this? It's constant, it's consistent. But once it goes to an area and it's being used, kind of like transmuting, and it will be sent back to source. Not really a cleaning process. It's the best term I can come up with to help you understand it. And then it can be recycled. There's a better word, and sent back out. So just like when energy comes into your body, you as a being have the ability to change bad energy into good energy and send it back out. Or if it's a heavy energy, sometimes you just have to transmute it and send it back to source yourself. You do have that ability as well. And from there, source is a big collective. It's just not one being. But they have all the power to rejuvenate this energy and bring it back to life, and it can be recycled back into the areas that need the support. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, absolutely. Fascinating. Thank you so much. We're also curious about the restrictions and limitations of gas, petrol. I'm guessing it may be diesel as well, gasoline in the country of the vehicle, America. What are you able? Actually, sorry, extension, because I also have heard it's happening in Canada too. Can you tell us what is happening there from your perspective, please?
As the individual areas communities, states, governments open back up from their different degrees of lockdowns, promoting a fuel shortage will prevent travel. There are the dark side again that are still trying to corral. Is that a good way to put it? Yes. They're trying to have people stay in areas. They don't want them traveling. They don't want them communicating with each other. They want the distance. It promotes hatred, anger, suspicion, all the negative energies and emotions that actually hold down humanity. So if they are successful, which it's starting out as a just the way they wanted it, but we haven't intervened on the flow of the fuel. It's apparent that the intervention was in another country and they wanted money, but that was a cover story. They did it to cause the crisis. So it's fear-based, it's also a distraction, and it's also control. It's everything wrapped into one little package.
Is there any advantages for humanity experiencing this, or will you step in?
Right now, they are just getting over their lockdowns in a lot of areas. Um, it'll just be a delay of them returning to a normal life if they can even find that. Everybody's developed different habits already. And the things they used to enjoy when they had more freedom, they replaced. I don't really see the gas crisis as doing anything but abbreviating vacations and summer travel.
Okay, okay. That's fascinating. Thank you. And in terms of the supply, will that increase soon, or what do you foresee for that?
Are you asking me if there'll be a lack of supply because of this?
And what can you see happening regarding the
The,
is
the
it
industry for that product, fuel, the gas and oil companies, they have not slowed down their productions. Everything from extracting it from the earth, refining it, and making whatever product they need to make out of it is still ongoing. There are many, many, many more pipelines throughout the United States. They could use another company's pipeline. They might have to divert it straight up north and then across to the east, but that could be done. The pipelines that are underground are almost as many as the roads they have on the surface. So it would cost more to do that, it looks like. And they are trying to avoid that. But the supply will not be slowed down once they make a decision on how they want to handle it. And that's they as in the gas company that's fighting this battle right now.
Hmm, okay. Thank you very much. It's all very interesting. Is there
One more thing, one more thing about these pipelines.
yes.
It looks like they need to reserve time months in advance. These pipelines are, we'll say, booked up. And wherever that gas is being shipped to, that is like a reservation. So let's say if it's going into the Midwest, that date and time that it's flowing through the pipeline was reserved months in advance to send it there. That's looks like a delay. They can't divert fuel that needs to go to the East Coast through those pipelines because they've already been bought and paid for that time, that time slot. So that does prevent them from using other pipelines right now.
Okay, that is interesting. And so this is just an extension of lockdowns, but with more freedoms.
Yeah, they can't go backwards on their local government saying that things are open up. So they tried this ploy.
Let's see. Yes, very interesting timing. In terms of the beings that know about the evacuation of this planet, um, they what are they doing to try and delay this? Is there anything else that we haven't heard of yet?
They have tried so many things. But like I said, we're so many steps ahead of them, and we've thought so many things through. Every time they make a move, we already know how to shut that door on them. So no matter which way they turn or what they try, we're there waiting for them. We have collectives, as you refer to them, from so many different parts of the universe here and beyond. Some came to observe, some definitely came to help. But we listen to everyone's wisdom, and we have I'm not going to call them spies. Sounds devious, but we do have watchers. We keep an eye on the nefarious ones. We keep a close eye.
Yes, absolutely. Well, we really appreciate all that. We truly do. So thank
We
you.
have a lot of invested in this planet. We have since its creation. We have a lot of respect for Gaia, and we're here to help and assist her in any way, and that includes her inhabitants. Earth was seeded, of course, a long, long time ago. It went unchecked. It became what it was. And now we're here to assist in any way we can. It is a part of our, it's a part of our heart. And we do have a lot of friends and even sparks of ourself that are on the surface helping. And even if it's just holding the light, that means a lot. That's a lot of hard work. So we have a lot invested here, and there's no way that we will let it fail ever. You can rest assured. We just need humanity to do their role, and their help is, of course, building their own self up. As the more they love themselves, it raises the vibration. I know you hear them words all the time, but you need to picture making a little campfire. Every time you add a stick, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Every time you add love, it grows bigger and bigger and bigger. Everybody contributing, even one twig helps. And so I want to say to everybody today, you might be in the worst spot in your life, but it really isn't. You'll look back on this time and go, that was so easy. What was I thinking? So set aside your emotions, even though we tell you to look at them and work through them and feel them. Every now and then you need a break from your emotions. Take a deep breath, set them aside, find the neutral spot that you know you have. Love yourself, love others around you. And every time you do that, you're adding to the bonfire and it grows and it gets bigger and warmer and brighter.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. I love that. In terms of your role, are you physical or non-physical in this life experience that you're having now?
You mean the vessel or the subconscious?
The subconscious, whoever I'm communicating with.
The subconscious. I am a being of light. I reside off planet. I'm here to support and protect the conscious. I I guide as every day, every second. That's part of my job. I do other tasks, but my main focus is the vessel's path and making sure that she stays on point, and she's doing a really good job of that. She's had a lot of hurdles in her life, some taller than she ever wanted to climb over, but she did make it. She has a good support team, her spirit guides. She's learned to talk with them and call on them more often. That helps you that helps you find self-love as well. When you know that you have a team behind you that you can call on, you know they love you. You will feel the love the more that you communicate with them. They will never leave you. They will never mislead you. So it's a very good thing to stay in contact. Meditation, some people use that route. Just talking to them will open up the communication lines more and more each time. You can even ask them their names and they will tell you. So I encourage you to build that relationship. You're actually building that relationship with yourself, within yourself. The more you know yourself, you'll know your team, and you will love every aspect of it.
Beautiful. Absolutely. I think some people miss the connection between loving yourself equals open connections to your spiritual team. So thank you very much for explaining it again for people to have those light bulb moments if they need it. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So the reason why I was curious about if you're physical or non-physical, I just wanted to get a sense of uh, what you have done so far in your life and what will you do after watching and observing this planet's experience. I'm just curious. I know it's a personal question for the subconscious.
It is a harder one to answer. It's easier, of course, to answer about the vessel and about humanity. As for myself, been around for a long, long time. I have traveled to so many places, some for just growth and relaxation, and some for work as I'm doing now. I I lost my train of thought. That's terrible. I had so many things to say. Once I, once we as a team, we're going to call this all a team because we're in this together, and we move forward past this planet and onto our next destinations. There's many choices. I have not been assigned anything because this one's not complete. We always try to focus on exactly what is in front of us right now. It's easy to, even as my level, to become distracted if I'm not totally absorbed into what my task is. And my focus is planet Earth, and I don't deviate from that. I don't have an answer for the future, and I don't have all the time to tell you everything from the past. No, everything I've done has been for the greater good of all species, and we do it with love. We all do it with love.
Fascinating. I love hearing about that. Is there, while you focus on this mission, and I understand and respect that, what do you uh, what do you find joy in, or what uplifts you?
I What uplifts me lately is seeing the growth, even though I have this vessel's interest, and it takes a lot of my focus. We do see everyone on the planet, and there's more and more emotional growth. There's more compassion towards each other. There's more sharing of ideas, good ideas. And that gives us all joy to know that we are witnessing humanity overcoming its darkest days. It gives us a lot of joy.
Well, that's great and fantastic motivation for us all to do our inner work and love ourselves profoundly to be able to please the higher beings that are supporting us so profoundly.
And we will always be here for you. And you're never alone. I know that I could see people feeling very lonely. They feel strange talking to us because they feel like they're talking to themselves. But we're always listening. We give you signs. Sometimes you ignore those signs, and those signs would definitely help you get past those dark days that you are in. We try to take you by the hand, but we're not physical like you. We'd love to give you a hug and lift your chin up and kiss you on the forehead, but that will be another time. We're two separate dimensions right now. So, and that's not a good way to describe it, but I'll leave it at that.
Would it be an accurate statement to say that lots of guides want to shake and slap and
There's been discuss there's been discussions, but it would be in a loving way. It would be more like a swat on the butt. Um, they don't they don't of course want to be physical in a violent way, but they do want to awaken you, but we cannot because you do have free will.
Mm.
So some we're sitting on our hands going, just ask me for help. I can do this for you. This is my job. I want to do this for you. But so many people don't ask because they don't realize that it's just that simple.
It seems to be one of those things that have been taken away from humanity's awareness. I'm not seeing very many light workers sharing their information about just asking your spiritual team because that's what they're there for. It seems like people have lost confidence and faith in their spiritual teams that they even have these amazing watchers supporting them and loving them and guiding them and helping them. We can use our free will. It seems strange that this has been a lacking dialogue for many.
We were Humanity's been distracted for so long that, like when you were a little kid and you had your imaginary friend, that was a part of your spiritual team, but you were taught that it was unreal. You have to grow up realize that, it doesn't exist. So you were taught and you're conditioned or you're brainwashed into not believing in the spiritual team anymore. So if humanity got back to basics and realized that they are still around and they've never left you, they're just waiting for you to ask them for help, advice, guidance. They are more than happy to step in and give you signs, guidance. Some of the signs come through dreams. Some are physical signs. You might hear your favorite song and you'll know you're on the right path. You just have to be open to receive. And everybody has this. Don't think that you're not deserving of it. Everybody has a spiritual team. This vessel has 3 that are very close to her, but then there's many more that come in for support when needed.
Fantastic. Well, that is great. That is great to know. Thank you so much. I have a question about what has been termed the 1,000 years of peace. What can you tell me about that?
It was a religious thing that was presented to the people for the time. So they had hope. The 1,000-year reign is what some of the religions called it, was supposed to come after the tribulation. That way, people thought that once they climbed the mountain of the tribulation, when they got to the other side, there's peace. But guess what? The peace is within you.
And so, what would you like people to know about the tribulation?
The tribulation was placed in front of humanity at that time, which was several thousand years ago, as also a control factor. The controlling of humanity is not new. It's been around for a long time as well. We're coming to the end with everyone that's living on the planet now. So if you want to view the tribulation as real, you're going through it now. And then once you shift, you'll have your peace. You will find a bigger love. You will definitely find love for yourself and respect for yourself. You will wonder how you allowed yourself not to be empowered. It is very easy to get to that point. You need to quit comparing yourself to other people that'll help you along the way. What they're doing is their path, not yours. You need to focus on you, and you need to love every aspect of yourself, your physical self, every cell in your body, all the emotions you have, all the likes and dislikes. They all make up you. And you need to love and respect all of it. So, tribulation is getting there, and the 1,000-year peace is achieving the goals of your empowerment.
Nice. Okay, thank you. In terms of counting time or being aware of time on the new earth, what can you tell us about that and the concept of that and how will we experience it?
I don't see clocks or calendars. I do see people growing taller, but not really aging. Like if you start out as a child there, you will develop into a taller being. the age process is very, very slow. So people don't notice time like they would have here. You have endless time to complete your lessons that you are going there for. You'll live longer. That vessel will live longer. And once you achieve your lessons or your contracts that you've set forth for there, you'll have other desires and other destinations that will be your next step in your growth. We don't ever quit growing.
Fascinating, thank you. I know this is going to be a very generic question, but on average, how long would it take someone to master the fifth dimension in terms of human years, just out of curiosity?
If I would put it in earth terms so you can understand it, it could take anywhere from 100 years to 500 years. Depends on your desire and your contracts that you want to experience. But it's done differently there. There's more love. People support each other without even being asked. It's very wonderful there.
Hmm. Are you able to give Karen the experience of the fifth dimension on New Earth now as she is experiencing this session, please?
Yes, she's very content. It's a very happy place. Everybody shares their knowledge. I hate comparing it back to old Earth, but here knowledge is power. On New Earth, knowledge is freely shared, happily shared. People are proud to advance other beings, other citizens. It's one of their joys.
I
It's
can,
a
I can,
very lovely.
nice. I can relate to that. Wanting to empower other beings and give it themselves joy. It's fantastic.
Yes, it's the other side of the coin than what you've experienced here. And it's so so vastly different that it's almost hard for the concept to be accepted because you're not used to it.
Does it take you some time to get into the trusting of it, or what needs to be overcome to start feeling that on the new earth?
No, because once you leave this third dimension and this planet is so heavy, once you start shaking off the vibrations that you've lived with for so long, it's a natural transition into that loving being that you actually are. All the all the shackles that you've carried with you through this life, they disappear, and with that disappears the hatred and all the negativity and all the doubts. It all goes. It's very easy to slide into that next role.
Fantastic. It's I think that is partly one of the bigger reasons why people are so excited to shift is because of that profound sense of community.
Yes, but with each piece that you can pick up and love yourself, you'll get a glimpse of the new earth that's coming for you, and you can feel it yourself. Each time you love yourself or somebody else, it's a spark. It's not quite like a memory. It's more of a glimpse of what you have waiting for you. So the more that you can promote the love, which is very important, you will experience little by little what we have waiting for you.
Fantastic. Really appreciate that. Um, it is really extraordinary. Exciting times ahead. So, thank you so much. We were also very interested in learning about autism, please, and understanding the soul contracts for those souls that wanted to experience what is being termed autism. What can you tell us?
Autism, a lot of people view that as a disability, but the humans that have that diagnosis are actually quite smart. Some of the beings that came here with the contract to live their life that way, there are various reasons. First of all, the children that were coming onto the planet Earth were known to be of higher vibrational beings. And they were, the dark side wanted to stop, of course, that type of work coming here. They couldn't kill the kids, so they tried to disable them with this affliction, but that didn't work because it didn't do anything but actually, I'm not going to say lock them in their own minds. Some it did that too, but they still could carry out their high valued work. And the beings that agreed for those contracts, they wanted so much to be involved with this planet's shifting. They agreed to come in any form that they could and help in any way. Does that help answer your question?
Yes, it does. Thank you. So, not all of what who is labeled autistic, that was not all contracted.
Yes, it was all contracted. Um, it's hard to, it's all intertwined, so it's hard to separate and show you exactly. Some of them that were all of them that are autistic, it was contracted. Some of the children that came here at the same time period, the autism was going to occur, so they agreed to be that child. I don't know if that's helping at all.
It is. It is. Thank you. And can you give me the metaphysical perspective of what is causing autism through humanity?
It's almost like heavy metals do cause autism. The body can't process out the extra, it's not irons, but it's almost like mercury. But mercury, everybody knows that's dangerous for a human body. And mothers, pregnant women that are treated, of course, with their doctors, receive medicines, and there might be higher levels of irons or metals, mercury in these medicines that when the child's developing in utero, it damages them. It doesn't damage their physical body. It's more of the mind, like the left side of the brain and the right side of the brain, they should spin in opposite directions. But in some of these children's, it's spinning in the same direction. And so they have a faster thought process. That does make them more intelligent, but it also limits their communication with their fellow humans.
Thank you. Is there any part of this contract to do with rebalancing karma in any way?
The parents that they are assigned to, it's more their karma. They're taking care of these bigger beings because most of them that are coming in experiencing these lives are bigger beings. They're coming to hold the light and help humanity. So the parents are the ones experiencing the karma by taking care of these children. Um, they're balancing their karma from past lives, from mistakes they felt they made.
Thank you. Um, is there any other information you'd like us to know about this topic?
The children, as they grow older, they do have the ability to develop into what society considers functioning adults. There aren't very many cases of autism where it's totally crippling, but when they're young children, it's harder to teach them. The parents, it's harder for the parents to teach them what society considers normal, because these kids don't look at their jobs, what they came here for. They don't consider that they have to fit in.
Thank you. Thank you very much. It's always fascinating to hear the metaphysical perspective of it. Thank you. Is there any final messages that you have for us?
I know I shared the promotion of loving yourself. I can't speak enough about that. Once you find that, you'll find inner peace. You'll find it so much easier not to judge others. You won't even think about judging others because it's, if you love yourself, everything around you is love. And it's the most profound emotion that you can have in your toolbox. So open it up, the toolbox, take out your love, paint it all over yourself, and then share it with others.
I love that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate all the wisdom you've provided for us today.